Welcome, everyone. It's a Wrap with Rap. I am your host, Ron Rappaport. This podcast features people who have overcome life's challenges and adversities, people who can inspire and motivate, and people who can educate us on an assortment of topics. My guest today is Chris Vane. Chris is the founder and executive director of the Little Bear Sanctuary located in Punta Gorda, Florida, a nonprofit farm animal sanctuary. Chris, originally from New York and working in the healthcare field, experienced some life challenges there that he had to overcome to get where he is today. Chris is here to share his story of resiliency and never giving up and to tell us all about his farm animal sanctuary and offer to us why never giving up on your dreams is important. Welcome, Chris, to the podcast.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
I'm
Thanks
great.
for having me.
Oh, it's good to have a fellow Floridian on.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell us what you're...
I was going to ask you how the weather is, but I guess we know how that is.
Well,
right?
yeah, we're probably about maybe 5 degrees cooler than you.
Yeah, probably.
Tell us what your early years were like growing up in your career in the medical field in New York.
Yeah, so born and raised in Yonkers, New York. And oh gosh, I always loved New York City. So when I turned 18, I was down, went to college at School of Visual Arts, had an art degree for quite a few years, and strangely ended up working at New York Hospital. So it was then that I became interested in medicine. And went back to school and became a PA. Went to Long Island University, did my rotations at Brooklyn Hospital, and moved to the city.
All right. So right around 9/11, you're living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan,
Yes.
And your partner of 12 years, Russ, was on a health decline. Can you tell us about that and what finally ensued with Russ?
Yeah, absolutely. So Russ. He was HIV positive for many years, and he ended up getting Lyme disease, which unfortunately went undiagnosed for about 2 years. So by the time they caught it, it had already turned to neurologic, and he was having, between the HIV, between the neurologic Lyme, which at that point, you throw people on antibiotics, IV antibiotics, and most of the time it's a long-term neuro problems. So unfortunately, his short-term memory really declined drastically. He was experiencing, I guess you would call it early onset dementia, given all his health issues, and then throwing that on top of it. So it was, right before 9/11, I'll sort of give you a leading up to 9/11. I would say that the year prior was when we really figured out what the issue was.
Yeah.
And, Russ had been a nurse in his, previously, before he worked on Wall Street. We all changed careers, right?
Yeah.
I came home one day and, do you remember I don't know if you guys down here, but there was always a movie of the week that was on like Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And he was already, he wasn't working anymore. He was on disability. And I came home and he's watching whatever the movie of the week was that Monday. Tuesday, I come home and he's watching the movie again. I'm like,
same movie.
Same movie. And I'm like, man, you were watching that yesterday. What are you doing? He's like, I've never seen this movie before. And I was like, oh, okay. Wednesday, same thing, Ron. Same movie on. And I'm just like, I
knew
sort of right there. I was like, okay, this is really getting bad now. And Thursday, Friday, I mean, it was every day, and he had no memory of it. And that by Friday, I sat him down and we had a really long talk. And it's when you don't remember, when you're having dementia symptoms and you can't remember, it brings up a lot of anger, because the person telling you basically you don't, and I'll use the movie as an example. He had no memory of ever seeing it, right? So even if he's watching it every day,
he's not believing you.
He's not believing, know, and then so it's sort of like, so we had this serious conversation, and you really have to trust the person to, to help them. They have to trust you that what you're saying, that you're not, and, we were together for 12 years. So he understood it. And, and there was other issues leading up to that. So, we had this really long discussion. So I guess he decided that he wanted to not be a burden. So unfortunately, a month after 9/11, he committed suicide. I was not prepared for that. It took me a little bit to kind of figure it all out after it played out. And, had he had lived another 6 months, he would have probably been hospitalized or somewhere where they, it would have been really bad at that point, and it was getting pretty bad. So it took me a while to figure that out, but, called 911, you figure, it played out the way it was, crazy, insane day of my life. It's weird to talk about it now. It's so long ago. People always ask, like, what happens to your brain? Like what happens? And I describe it as, I felt like I was just like on this automatic pilot, and it was just very foggy, and
no, I can understand that. I can.
It was a month after 9/11, so they couldn't even come get the body till like after midnight, 1 a.m. It was just one of those nightmare days. And we lived in a rent-controlled apartment on the Upper West Side. Didn't have my name on the lease. Back then we were young. You never thought about.
Right.
It was never even a thought in our minds. Like to do.
You're enjoying life.
Yeah, and. So the next morning I called the landlord. Now I've been there for 12 years, right? And she's like, Chris, I'm so sorry. I heard what happened. I'm so sorry about Russ. And I said, thank you. I said, would you mind if I come down and put my name on the lease? Because it's something that I never did.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me call you back.
Yeah.
Like, so 2 hours later, her attorneys called me back and said, we don't know who you are.
Not a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, if this couldn't get any worse, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have no place to live. Talk about a nightmare. So a friend of mine who is in politics, he said, call Lambda Legal. He knew some people. Lambda Legal it's a LGBTQ law firm, and they help their community by taking on heavy duty cases. They do it for free. Sure. So they took it on, thank goodness. It was a year in the courts. As I was living there, they wouldn't accept my rent, so I had to save up the rent money, and it was literally a year living like that, having to show pictures of us together and documents, and I can't even begin to tell you. It was so invasive of my privacy and my life, and given everything that happened, it was just this constant, there was no peace, It
was kind of like rock bottom.
It was, well, I thought at that time, but it definitely got worse. So a year later, the actual date of his death, it was the court date. And I did win. At that point, my mental health really declined. I had been doing serious drugs. I didn't want to feel anymore. That's the best way I can describe it. And I didn't care anymore. I didn't care if I lived anymore. I was completely hopeless. And I never knew what that feeling was. You hear people talk about it. You hear about people who commit suicide who are hopeless. And I really, Ron, I just literally didn't care about anything anymore.
I hear you.
So won the court case. And at that point, I didn't even care, I was in medicine. I was in a research position, so I wasn't seeing patients, thank goodness. And it was just like this nonstop nothing. I mean, it's the memories of it are so foggy.
Yeah.
And I guess it was probably a year after that. Yeah, it had to be. It was literally after the court case. That October, I said, if I don't leave New York.
The podcast in our audience is very fortunate to have, as our sponsor and supporter, award-winning author Mary K. Savarese. Mary loves to write books with the quirkiest of titles. Mary's debut fiction novel, Tigers Love Bubble Baths, an obsession perfume, Who Knew, is a contemporary spiritual mystery that transcends three genres: mystery, spirituality, and romance. This book has won many awards. The book's main character, Angie Pantera, thought she had the perfect life. A loving, devoted husband of 25 years, 2 wonderful grown children, and an impending wedding anniversary celebration with friends and family. But the celebration is ruined by a cheating husband, and Angie's life devolves into a living nightmare until serendipity brings her to Birdsong, Maine as a recreation director at a church-run nursing home that is slowly wasting away. The home could use a miracle. A bit of creative advertising prompts Angie to buy a bouquet of magical dandelions, and in a flash of inspiration, she knows exactly how to bring light to these dark days. But then people start dying, and the only thing they have in common is Angie. Harangued by a distrustful elder and under suspicion of the police, Angie must fight to clear her good name as she seeks out the truth. Is this a miracle or murder? Mary Savarese's latest book, The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper, is the first book of her trilogy fantasy adventure which spans 2 generations. Alice may have fallen through the looking glass and created a relationship with a Cheshire cat, but it's 12-year-old Tyler who falls into the Toile wallpaper and unwittingly bonds with 13 cats. Tyler must rescue the girl of his dreams or forever be imprisoned inside the wallpaper of time while running from an evil wizard. Some of the reviews of Mary's works include statements such as, "The book was exceptional. I felt connected to the characters. I became part of the book in my mind. Her book would make a wonderful Hallmark movie. I couldn't put this book down. I connected with it right away." The books, Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume, Who Knew, and The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper, is available in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle, and available from Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, or through the author's website, marysavarese.com. All the purchase information will be listed in the podcast notes.
I'm going to die. And I called my parents and I told my mom, I'm like, "Mom," I said, "I'm going to move to Florida." And she's like, "Really? Oh my God, that's great."
She's happy. Yeah.
She's so excited.
Yeah.
And my dad gets on the phone and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What are you gonna?" He's like, "You got this. You got a career. You got it. What are you doing?" They didn't know at the time what I was going through,
right?
Other than with Russ, they didn't know the drugs and all that craziness. So, I literally in 2 weeks I was packed up and I moved in with them for a few weeks.
But you leave for Florida for a change of scenery, and you moved to Miami Beach.
I did.
What did you do there, and for how long did you do that?
So I thought about going back into medicine. I was truly burnt out. I think at that point from medicine, I was an HIV/AIDS specialist. I just think, I gave my time to my community, and I wanted to start over.
Sure.
And, the first 6 months in Miami Beach were fabulous. And, it was like being on vacation, and it really got me out of that insanity, and it saved my life. It really did. And I ended up working for a nonprofit for like 2 years, and then I became a realtor. So I was a realtor for 10 years.
You can't beat that. You move to Florida and you go into real estate. How many people do that?
Too many. But yeah, it was a great 10 years.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And you're in nice warm weather,
Exactly. I did really well. And it was when I turned 50, I was in a real estate seminar.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Now you moved back, then you moved to Punta Gorda.
I did. I
to be
ended up
close
moving closer to mom
your
and dad.
parents.
Only child.
Right.
My mom had a stroke 2 years prior, and I figured, I got to be up there closer. And I figured, I could just do real estate up there.
Right. And then you're at a real estate seminar, right?
Yep. Yes.
And you get a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Sitting in a real estate seminar, 3-week, crazy intensive on following your passion in real estate. And I think within the first week, truly a light bulb moment, like talk about coming out of nowhere, right? I had always wanted to be a veterinarian. I'd been vegan for a while. I always loved animals. And I just said to myself, I'm going to open up a farm sanctuary. Like it just came to me.
Wow.
I was trying to figure out how I could, work in the animal community without doing another crazy, drastic anything. But with me, it's all or nothing. So changed careers again, and became a vet tech in preparation for this crazy adventure.
And you studied to be a vet tech, so you were doing that, figuring if you ever start something, you would have that.
My 5-year plan was to at least get the medicine down, because I had looked at sanctuaries and rescues, and veterinary costs were their biggest downfall and their biggest expense.
Right.
So I figured, let me get involved in the field, and I can learn a lot, and I can save a lot of money, and it ended up working out great. The vet that I worked for, I had told him going into this, that's what I was going to do. And he's now on our board of directors, and he does everything for us for cost, basically, which is unheard of in the animal community. So,
Well, tell us about your mom, Ursula, and her love for animals and her dream of helping animals. How did that affect you?
My mom was she was such a great person. She born in Germany, came over, war bride, that kind of thing, and she had the German accent. She worked in a factory for 20 years, and she truly, like, she told you like it was so funny. She had no filters. She was so much fun, and she loved animals. She truly, we always had a dog. I always had hamsters. I had, you name it. I had every animal growing up, and I always had a special connection with animals. She had a special connection with animals, and she really, my love for animals, she's definitely a big part of that. Her compassion was amazing with people and with animals. My father was a Yonkers cop, so you can imagine that dynamic, right? And, and she was totally opposite. I
was going to say there's two poles.
She accepted everybody for who they were. Thank goodness, right? They accepted, I came out when I was 18. Back in 1980, when there was no coming out, there was no TV shows about anything, there were no computers. She did what a mom did, and she accepted it. And shockingly, my father accepted it too, which was pretty shocking. And but I'm sure she had a big to do with that.
Now Ursula has
everybody, every culture, every person, no matter where they were in their life. And that was her biggest thing with me. She always supported me 100% in anything I wanted to do.
Yeah, she sounds like a great woman. Now, Ursula, that name means something in Latin, doesn't it?
Yep. It means little bear.
Little bear. All right, we'll get to that.
Yep.
What is the mission statement of the sanctuary you're running?
Yeah. Our mission is we rescue farm animals from abuse and neglect, and we give them a permanent home here at the sanctuary where they live out the remainder of their lives in a cruelty-free environment. And we're a true sanctuary. None of our animals are kept in cages or pens. We're on 30 acres. They run around in their natural habitat. We are, Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries verified, which is 3% of sanctuaries in the world get that verification. Wow. And it's given to true sanctuaries that have the best policies, the best animal care. It's like, 200-page application, site visit. It's a big deal. And
yeah, it sounds that way. How did you go about securing a space for the sanctuary, and how did you find your first rescue animals?
It's funny. It's the day before I started my new job as a vet tech. It was Easter Saturday, the Saturday before Easter in 2016, 2016, gosh. I met Randy, my husband, and we were out with friends at a bar. Neither one of us knew each other, but we had the same friends. And yeah, we, love at first sight, Ron. What can I say?
Yeah. We hit it up.
The rest is history. The rest is history. So we were living in Fort Myers. We had a house in Fort Myers. And I think probably the following, unfortunately, my mom passed away in November of 2016. And in February of 2017 is when we started looking for property. We decided, let's do it. And it was actually the first listing that came up on realtor.com. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it happens.
So it was a house on 10 acres. We went to go look at it, and it went under contract. And 2 weeks later, it came off a contract, and that's when we got our contract in. And it had to be contingent on our house selling. It was one of those complicated deals, and it went through, and we moved in August of 2017. What hurricane was that month? Because that's when the hurricane came through. Irma?
Could be, yeah. There was so many back then.
So 2 weeks later, we moved in. 2 weeks later, Irma hit. And thank goodness we didn't have any animals. No electricity for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you find your first rescue animals?
Once our name was out there, we got a phone call. Probably, August. It had to be October-ish, maybe. And it was a local, woman in Naples who had a pet piggy that she couldn't take care of anymore. And she asked if we would take it. And
wow.
That's how it started.
That's how it started.
Willie the pig.
They knew you had the property and the word.
Yeah, we had already
yeah.
did. We had the nonprofit paperwork all done in July. So we were at a website at that point. We were ready to go.
Chris, tell us the species of animals that there are there today, and the total number on the sanctuary.
Yeah, sure. We've got just a little bit over 200 animals.
200. Wow.
Yeah, 200. We've got pigs, cows, goats, chickens, donkeys. Did I say sheep? We've got sheep.
Nope, you didn't say sheep.
Yeah, we got sheep. We got a whole herd of sheep. 135 pigs total. Lots of pigs. That's everybody, I think.
Do you have a favorite animal?
Everybody asks me that. Oh gosh, I always say it's Willie because he was the first. He has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But there's so many personalities here. It's really fun.
Do you name each animal?
They're all named.
Really?
Yep.
So you got 200 names.
I do.
And you know each one.
I do. Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. Are you taking in more animals, and are you adding more space?
Yeah. So what we did was the year later, the 20 acres next to us came up for sale. So we quickly purchased those. We're landlocked, so that was the only space available. Right. So we got really lucky. So we're on 30 acres now. We have an amazing board of directors. Our supporters are incredible. the whole place is fenced and secure. And gosh, we've got a full-time employee. Kelly is our animal caregiver. She's absolutely incredible. I don't know what I would do without her. And like I said, we have such an amazing board, and we added some really fantastic people this year. So I'm excited.
Chris, why are animals important to you?
I think, especially farm, because we're a farm animal sanctuary, which is very specific and not, I don't think a lot of people understand a farm animal sanctuary. Everybody relates to dogs and cats, right? Horses,
Lions, tigers, yeah.
Lions, tigers, sure. And I just wanted to be able to sort of share with the world what I see in all animals. I want people to see how intelligent pigs are, how intelligent cows are, how intelligent chickens are. Pigs are the fourth smartest animal on the planet. I don't think most people know that.
No, I didn't know that.
They are, gosh, they're so smart, Ron. Smart as a 4-year-old. So if you kind of think of it that way, their personalities, they're so funny. They plot and they scheme. They, they have a very complex language. They understand English or whatever language they're taught. They have self-recognition. They can recognize a good person from a bad person just by looking at them. They can, they think, they judge, they're pretty amazing.
So we're not talking about like little miniature pigs. We're talking about regular farm animal pigs.
Yeah, we've got from potbellies to farm animals. So no such thing as a mini pig, which a lot of people think there are. So mini pig is any pig under 300 pounds.
Okay, gotcha.
And probably a potbelly averages 100 to 250 pounds.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, most people don't. And right now, the pet pig situation in this country is insane. 95% of people who get a pet pig will end up getting rid of it.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And where do they go? Yeah.
Where do they go? Exactly. It's I think we get about 10 phone calls a day asking if we'll take pet pigs. Yeah, which we had to stop doing because it's
just don't have crazy. The room.
So we're really for mostly the abused animals now.
That's not good to hear. How much food do you need a month to feed all these animals?
We feed over, oh my gosh, we're up to 20,000 pounds a month.
20,000 pounds. Wow.
Yep.
A month.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, that's a lot of food.
It's our biggest expense.
Yeah.
Like $5,000 a month.
Can you describe to our audience the property? Kind of what it.
Yeah. I love this property because we're very isolated. We don't have any neighbors per se. We are on the border of Arcadia. So we are, north, we're east Punta Gorda, I guess. And
I would say for our audience, Punta Gorda is probably the southwest Florida. Would that be described?
Yeah, southwest Florida. We're closer to Fort Myers. I think most people know Fort Myers.
Yeah, south of Tampa.
South of Tampa, south of Venice, Sarasota. You have to go down a dirt road, half a mile to find us. It's a beautiful property, tons of trees, lots of palm trees, tons of oak trees, pine trees. We have this big 1 acre pond as you enter the property.
That must be nice.
It's really beautiful. Right now it's sort of a little separated. It's just regular farm fencing. It's not, so it's very see-through. So we've got some 1,000-pound piggies on the first area where you come in. And the house is sort of in the middle of the 10 acres. So behind the house is a big field. And then out on the 20 acres next, right adjacent to the property, are our cows and more pigs.
Sounds like a beautiful place.
Pigs. It's really pretty out here.
Can you tell us, Chris, about a few of your most memorable rescues? Let's say the hardest ones.
Sure. Oh my gosh, there's been some crazy ones. Jimmy was this little he's the cutest little piggy. He was probably 2 months old, and he was picked up off of the streets in Fort Myers, and somebody had poured a caustic substance over his back, which ate away his skin almost down to the spine, and had to do a little surgery. It's a couple weeks of healing, and he is the most incredible little guy. He's to see them go from such a horrible place in a horrible situation, and to be abused to that extent, and then to see how joyful he is now.
Doing God's work.
Teary-eyed sometimes when I think about it.
Yeah, you're doing God's work.
It's he's happy now. He loves his belly rubs. It's amazing. For me, just to see that transformation is pretty incredible.
Tell us about the cost of running the sanctuary and how is it funded?
Yeah, sure. Well, we are a nonprofit, publicly funded. Our monthly operating costs are $15,000, which is quite amazing. We have an amazing board. We have amazing supporters. Yeah, we're doing it. We're bringing in the money and rescuing animals. And,
so it's pretty much funded by donations.
Yeah, all donations. Yep.
Okay. What does a typical day running the sanctuary look like for you?
Yeah, sure. Oh my goodness. So you know what? I tell people the hardest part of my job are my dogs in the house.
They probably want some attention.
The farm animals are really easy. It's my crazy dogs in the house that are take up a lot of my time. So gosh, like I said, we have a full-time employee now, Kelly, and she does all the hard work now. She does the feeding and all the medications, and she's also a vet tech. So it's been so amazing to have her.
She's got to be a very busy woman.
She's
200 animals.
She's busy. So morning it's you check the animals first. We go around, make sure everybody's safe and walking around, and everybody gets their medications, the ones that need their medications. And feeding time is sort of she's got this amazing. She has got feeding time. Feeding time is so complicated, Ron. I can't even begin to tell you. I do it on the weekends, and I'm just like I don't know how she does this every day.
Oh, I see your dog there.
Yeah, it's Koa. Hi, sweetie. You want to say hi? She's got it down pat. It's feeding in stages because they're all free. It's pigs are, it's a crazy noisy.
Well, it sounds like she's taken a good load off your.
She has.
Yeah.
So most of my time during the week is good old fundraising.
Administrative work, right? Yeah.
Administrative. We have some amazing new board members this year. We're going to be working on a series, and one of our new board members is the producer director. So it's going to be fun. We got some great stuff planned this year. Every month we do some type of special fundraiser. We just came off of the Betty White Challenge. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
No.
So Betty White passed away, and she had said if she had asked everybody just donate $5 to animal nonprofit of their choice.
Oh, okay.
So we're part of that challenge, and fundraising. Gosh, Ron, it is the hardest part of my job. It's definitely the most challenging. Asking for money is always challenging.
Yeah. Chris, what advice would you give to someone who wants to do this type of thing?
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
A lot of sacrifice.
It is life changing. It is 24/7, 7 days a week. If if somebody really is serious and is thinking about, especially a farm animal sanctuary, gosh, get your education on the animals. You got to be able to buy the property yourself and live in the house, and there's got to be somebody's got to have a job, especially the first couple of years to support it.
Right.
People do not just give you money because you rescue animals, and I think that's a huge misconception for a lot of people. I see so many sanctuaries going under now because of that.
Oh, really? What lessons have you learned from running the sanctuary?
Oh gosh, I've learned to pay it forward.
Okay.
I've learned a lot of patience. I'm always here to help another animal nonprofit if they have questions, if they need advice. It doesn't happen a lot in our world. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of infighting, and we're drama free. I'm always ready to help somebody. I'm always ready to give advice. So I've definitely learned to pay it forward. I remember people who's helped me in the past, and that's what I'm here for.
That's great. Yeah. Chris, are people allowed to visit the sanctuary?
Yeah, absolutely. We are by appointment only. So tons of different ways to reach us on our website at littlebearsanctuary.org. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're all over social media as Little Bear Sanctuary.
Okay. And Chris, what excites you the most going forward?
Oh my gosh. I can't begin to tell you how amazing my life is. And given my past, given everything that's got me to this point, to be able to do this, and to have it be successful and to change the lives of these animals it's totally worth it. It's everything to me. And we're going to get bigger. We're going to rescue more animals. The next 5 years is going to be amazing. We're going to be working on infrastructure, building a big barn and all that good stuff. So
sounds exciting.
Hopefully we have a successful series coming up, and that'll be fun too. Oh,
great. Now, I know people can contact you. The best way is littlebearsanctuary.org.
Yes.
Or Little Bear Sanctuary, Instagram, Facebook. You're on there.
We're everywhere. You can Google us. We're easy to reach.
I'm going to include that information in the podcast notes. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your story of overcoming adversity and being resilient to move forward and achieve a wonderful life goal. The work you are doing to improve the quality of the lives of these animals is so inspiring to all of us. And I am sure I speak for everyone listening that we wish nothing but good things for you and Randy going forward. Next time I am in Southwest Florida, which could be soon, I plan to visit you.
Yeah, come visit.
Visit. I will. And comments and suggestions to improve the podcast, please email us at itsawrapwithrap@gmail.com. Our website is itsawrapwithrap.com. Facebook and our Facebook group is It's a Wrap with Rap. We're on Instagram, It's a Wrap with Rap podcast. All the episodes are on YouTube. It's a Wrap with Rap, the podcast uncut. Thanks everyone for listening. Please stay safe. And for now, it's a wrap.